Well, good evening and welcome. I'm Scott Eisberg. He's Webb Wright. It's a rivalry night on FNR, but it's more than that. West Ashley, James Island is always special, but more special tonight. Each team playing for something. West Ashley playing for their quarterback, Chase Town. He lost his dad this week. The entire team attending the funeral.
James Island playing for the past, a school presenting rings to the old Gresham Megget teams that won state titles in the 50s and 60s, but during segregation and never got any of the rings that they earned.
Yeah, there is that wonderful ceremony celebrating those Gresham Megget teams. Love that so much. As for the game, James Island, good start. West Ashley punting away to the Trojans. A lot of space for James Hurto. That leads to this. After he is pulled down at the 1-yard line, King Washington will score the touchdown on 4th down, and it is 7-0 James Island on top of West Ashley. More James Island. How about Connor Dantzler, the quarterback? Got an offer from Tulsa this week. Hits Sam Crumpton. That's an absolute dart. That's a touchdown, 14-0. West Ashley will get one back. Look at this. DeAnthony Coleman. He is gone. He is really, really fast. Look at that house call. But all James Island after that. Huge defensive play from the Trojans. The ball is popped out. Harper Woods going to grab it for James Island before it goes out of bounds. And that will lead to a Connor Dantzler keeper. And James Island rolls over West Ashley tonight. 49-7 is the final from the backyard. The Trojans are still undefeated.
I'm very proud of them. These young men have fought hard and worked hard in the offseason to get to this point. So, you know, no matter how the game looked, how it went, we came out victorious, and I'm extremely proud of them. The kids played hard, and that's James Island. That's how we play ball here. You know, we're gonna play strong, hard-nosed defense, and we're gonna try to score the ball as much as possible offensively.
Well, on paper, it doesn't get much better than Stratford and Berkeley this year. Both teams are 4-1. Both teams only lost coming to Sommerville. Both teams explosive on offense with elite college-level quarterbacks. And in the second quarter, Henry Rivers and the Stags up 14-0. And the Stags defense keeping Jakin Davis in check, getting the sack here. And then the Stags would force the Stratford punt, but it's blocked. Jameer Hayward getting his big mitts on the ball, and Berkeley, however, would only manage a field goal out of this one, and that may prove to be big. Stags up 17-0 at the half. Stratford getting the offense going in the second half. Malik McGowan with the sickest cut you'll ever see right there. Shades of Allen Iverson and a crossover, and that would take the ball inside the 15-yard line. But a couple of plays later, Jakin Davis, he's going to keep it himself this time. He's headed to pay dirt, but the ball gets knocked loose, and the Stags recover it on the 1-yard line. But the Knights nearly get a break here. Looks like they wrap up Bryson McGee in the end zone, but the refs say otherwise. They put the ball just outside of the goal line, but Stratford would force the punt. The Knights get the ball back. Jakin Davis finally finds the end zone to Jaquan Crosby for the touchdown. The lead is cut to 17-7, Berkeley on top, but the final in this one, Stratford overcomes that 17-0 second half deficit, and they win it over Berkeley, the final 21-17.
It is homecoming night at Cane Bay High School, and there are the homecoming court winners, whatever you call them. 7-7 starting the second, and it's a run up the middle for a nice gain right here, and then Finn Gunter will fumble, recover, and then get it in for the Lucy Beckham score. It is 13-7. PAT is good, makes it 14-7, and Lucy Beckham, they win this one, a big one. 24-23 is the final score over Cane Bay.
To Steve LaPrade Field in North Charleston, Ashley Ridge at Fort Dorchester. Fort down 21-7 in the second quarter. Quarterback Tatum Amansky trying to make a play and gets the ball knocked out of his hands. It's recovered by Ashley Ridge's JT King, and he's going to take it all the way for the touchdown. And then Fort would get the ball back. Kyrome Durant takes the handoff, and he's going to run for a big gain. But Fort Dorchester could not capitalize on that run. They would have to punt. Ashley Ridge trying to run a 2-minute offense. Ryan Campbell picks up much needed yardage. And then that would set up Zach Woods. He would eventually drill a 46-yard field goal to end the half. And the final in this one tonight, Ashley Ridge, as they win it 44-14.
Ian Rafferty in Sommerville hosting Stoll tonight over at Memorial Stadium. Stoll ball, QB Jeremy Jean finds Markel McMillan down the field, and that's a 50-yard touchdown for Stoll on Sommerville. How about that? But Sommerville, he gets the ball, and they do take over the rest of the game. But still a cool moment for Stoll. Cameron Grayson powers his way for a first down. Later in the possession, Grayson going to punch in the touchdown, and Sommerville is on the board. Next possession for the Green Wave. Max Stafford finds Jaden Kelly Murray. Great catch, then hurdles a defender. First down. Wow. Later in the possession, Cameron Grayson going to power into the end zone. All Sommerville over Stoll in this one, 57-6, the final score. Well, Goose Creek and Wando meeting tonight. Seems like a winnable game for the Gators, but Wando much improved this year, 3-2 already. Gators looking for their first win of the year. That's unheard of for that program, but injuries are the ultimate equalizer, and boy, have they equalized. Ben Eikenberry, a nice defensive play for Wando, shooting the gap and making the big tackle for loss. Then it's the quarterback, Harris Stone, Wando's quarterback, running the offense. Nice run for him. He's really a dual threat guy, because look at him throw as well. This is just perfection to Gabriel Holmes. That is a gorgeous touchdown just before the half. Wando up 7-0, and Wando goes on to win 14-12. And stay with us. We got much more, including Bishop England putting that undefeated record on the line on Hilton Head Island.
This is Knights Company's Friday Night Rivals, driven by Crew Chevrolet on News 4.
Welcome back, everybody. Woodland with a premier matchup a week ago against Bishop England, or so we thought. The battling Bishops just blew the doors off of them.
The Wolverines back, the return trip down to the Cainhoy-Daniel Island area tonight. Philip Simmons at home, a special night, retiring the jersey of their former quarterback, the late Trip Williams.
Thanks to our own Sonia Stevens for her photographic help there, shooting that opening ceremony for Trip, moving stuff over on Clements Ferry. First quarter action, Woodland struggling to move the ball because Nate Elsey and Ethan Chisholm all over the backfield to tackle for loss. Then on offense, Philip Simmons goes to the air. Hayes Goddard to Ashton Kellerman, outstanding snag. He's been turning those in all year long. And then it's Kellerman again, this time for the touchdown. And the Iron Horses are up 7-0 on Woodland. They would keep their foot on the gas. And Iron Horses take this one 39-14, the final score.
Meanwhile, Hanahan visiting Oceanside at Johnson Haygood Stadium. Early on, Oceanside's Juju Bonneau dropping the ball in the end zone, but it's recovered by his teammate Anthony Williams. And Anthony Williams would find many different ways to contribute tonight. He's a target all night. Aiden Manavian throwing an absolute bomb, 30 yards for Williams to put him in the red zone, and then the catch of the game. Manavian throwing a dart to Tyler Garner. It gets deflected off the hands of a Hanahan player before snagging it with one hand in midair. The Land Sharks go into the half 49-8. It would go to a running clock in the second half, and Oceanside wins by that final score of 49-8.
Quite simply, that camera. Quite simply, they keep on winning, and they keep on winning big. Bishop England has shown they are for real. 5-0, outscoring opponents 239-35. Tonight, unquestionably, their biggest test against a 5-1 Hilton Head team. So we head on down to the island of Sea Palms. Hilton Head Island hosting that undefeated team from Bishop England. And let's start it out right away with Quinn Mahoney. Second play from scrimmage. Mahoney squeezes a pass over the middle to William Donato. He turns on the Jets all the way down to the 1-yard line before he's brought down. Next play, it's a read option for Mahoney, and the future Campbell Camel keeps it and scores it, battling Bishops up 7-0. Ensuing drive, same score. Mahoney facing some pressure. He's forced to float one over the top. Javen Risher comes flying in for the Seahawk interception. That was pretty. Hilton Head takes over from there in a big way. They dominate the rest of the way, and Bishop England is undefeated no more. They fall to Hilton Head big, 41-10 the final.
North Charleston hosting Battery Creek, and North Charleston looking for a second half comeback, and they would get it at least early on. Gregory Parks picks off Battery Creek, and that's going to bring the ball into Dolphin territory. Last seconds right before the half, Lorenzo Kitching Jr. pushes his way through for a Cougar touchdown. That cuts the Dolphins' lead to 13-8 after a 2-point conversion. Starting the second half, a big play coming up here for Lorenzo Kitching Jr. He's going to race the kickoff back for a 95-yard score. And then the Cougars follow it up with a 2-point conversion, and the Cougars would take a 16-13 lead. And the final in this one tonight, North Charleston hangs on to win by that 16-13 final score.
They're having a really good year. How about Military Magnet honoring its senior night against Baptist Hill? Why do you do senior night against Baptist Hill? Baptist Hill is really good. Braden Franklin showing off the arm. Long TD to Martrell Wright. Nice catch early on. Bobcats up 6-0. How about the Bobcats? Eck Thompson. A short run for him, and Marion Brown's got to like the play of his team. Always cool seeing the old Garrett Tech field. I miss Garrett Tech High School. How about Thompson back, pushing his way in, short touchdown run. Then Franklin, the quarterback keeper for the 2-point conversion. It is 14-0 Baptist Hill, and Baptist Hill wins big 62-0, ruining Military Magnet senior night. St. John's, they are taking the field, and there are the Islanders. Cross, a very formidable foe. Makai Green for Cross, running it to the sideline, taking it down to the 20. Andrew Mack then for Cross will take it the final 20 yards, first touchdown of the game. And they're just going to keep on rolling because that's what Cross does. They made it all the way to the state final last year. How about Tyler Harris throwing a dime to Caden Ramsey, the future Gamecock, making it look easy, in for the touchdown. Cross goes into the second quarter with a big lead, and they win easy, 42-0 the final score. Well, we've had a lot, and now we got Skiza right after the break.
This is Knights Company's Friday Night Rivals, driven by Crew Chevrolet on News 4.
Quite simply, it was Northwood Academy's biggest win ever. They go to Hammond and they unseat the champs.
And in the process, end a 28-game winning streak for the Skyhawks. And the last thing you want to do is follow that up with a goose egg. However, no worries on that front tonight. First possession, Bryson Ford is going to run for a big first down for the Chargers. And they would keep it rolling from there. Kevin Johnson to Scott Geisel for the score, 7-0 Chargers out of the gate. And then issues on offense for Cardinal Newman. The bad snap here, and Newman loses a ton of yardage. They are forced to punt it away. Good field position for the Chargers. They go for it on fourth down. Bryson Ford gets the first down, but then the ball is stripped away. Carson Newman recovers, but really the only hiccup of the game for Northwood Academy. The joy would not last long for Cardinal Newman. The pass is picked off by Quincy Lingard, and he's going to weave his way all the way to the pay window. He's going to pick up 6 for his trouble. 14-0 Northwood, just like that. Northwood Academy rolls 63-0.
Red hot Pinewood prep at Wilson Hall tonight, up to Sumter for this one. Panthers fighting from behind all game long. Silas Bronner to Lavoris Lucas. Quick strike touchdown, Pinewood on the board. Grayson Salego then touchdown for the Panthers, and they're within one score again. But a dagger from Wilson Hall, the counter to Ben McLaurin, who takes off 60 yards for the touchdown, and that's a surprise. Wilson Hall beats Pinewood prep 28-21, the final from Sumter tonight.
Meanwhile, St. John's Christian hosting Dillon Christian. It was not looking good for St. John's in this one, as Dillon drops the throw and Blackman passes to Bracy. Dillon Christian up 7-0 after that one. And then more from the Dillon defense this time. They respond with an interception there, and they would get set up in great field position once again as the Dillon offense goes back on the field. And this time it's Blackman. He's going to scramble, and he's going to eventually take it himself for the score, 13-0 after a blocked PAT. But it hardly mattered as Dillon Christian goes on to win this one, 38-13.
Dr. Jerry Brown still looking for win number 1 at SJC. Stay with us. We'll be back right after this.
This is Knights Company's Friday Night Rivals, driven by Crew Chevrolet on News 4.
there is no chance whatsoever that I thought Clemson against Bill Belichick would be the noon game tomorrow.
By the way, by accident, I completely picked out the Fighting Bill Belichick's tie from the Iceberg Costco collection. That was a complete
I don't get my
coincidence.
ties at Costco. I get my ties on Amazon. We can go back to those games in tomorrow's games right there. My ties are always, they're straight class, always. Charleston Southern and Gardner-Webb playing for the Barbecue Bowl tomorrow. That is up in Boiling Springs, North Carolina at 1:30. CSU getting that huge win last week. Savannah State at SC State and Coastal Carolina. They're going to take that win under their belt and go up to Old Dominion tomorrow up in Norfolk, Virginia for a 6 o'clock kick. So a lot of early football tomorrow. A couple more scores to pass along to you tonight. Webb, you want to read them?
Absolutely. Porter Gould, 38-0 over Ben Lippen. Academic Magnet blanked by Andrews, 42-0, and May River over Colleton County, 35-12.
Man, well, I guess we learned tonight Stratford really good. That's a signature win tonight over
Absolutely,
Berkeley.
Especially coming back 17-0 in the second half.
Yeah, pretty good stuff. All right, for Webb, for our team of photojournalists, I'm Scott. Have a great night, everybody. Enjoy the weekend.